Chase just raised what we pay each year for our Sapphire Reserve by $365. We've carried that card since we retired and started traveling full time. The lounge access, the travel credit, the higher redemption rate, all of it mattered.
But we already have the same lounge access and the same size travel credit on a card that costs about half as much. So we're letting this one go. And that forced us to look at the rest of our wallet too.
Before we downgrade, we're running every upcoming booking through the Chase portal at the higher redemption rate while we still have access to it. Once we switch, that rate drops and it doesn't come back.
Last year, a $95 card put us in a hotel room that was booking at $300 a night.
And one well-timed transfer helped cover upgraded seats from Boston to London with just $240 out of pocket.
Yeah, every card in the wallet has to earn its fee back. That's the rule we use.
Before deciding whether any card stays or goes, we start with the simple math. What are we paying and what comes back before we even touch the points?
We carry about 11 cards between the two of us, and when you add it all up, the annual fees come to $1,503 a year.
Two of them do most of the damage. The Sapphire Reserve at $550 plus $75 for the additional card holder.
So essentially $625.
And the Venture X at $395, while the rest sits somewhere between $95 and $150, or they cost nothing at all.
Right away, $750 of that comes back to us without even doing anything special. $300 from the Reserve travel credit, another $300 through Venture X portal, $50 towards the hotel on the Preferred, and 10,000 anniversary miles on the Venture X, which works out to be about $100.
Then there are the free night certificates. 4 of our cards, both IHG cards, Marriott, and the Hyatt, throw in one free night every year, and we use all 4. We don't just let them sit there. We build each one into a trip as a stop between one of our longer stays. They are a bonus one-night stop somewhere on the way to our next location.
The Hyatt card is the clearest example of this. It costs $95 a year, and last year, that free night covered a stay at a property priced at over $300 a night.
That's 3 times the fee from one certificate.
The IHG and Marriott both go a step further than that. With IHG, if you book 4 award nights, the 4th one is free. Marriott does the same thing at 5 nights. We've used both and added an extra night onto trips we were already taking without spending any more points.
And both premium cards come with Priority Pass lounge access. That would cost about $469 a year or more if you bought it on its own. We have it on 2 cards, and we make sure to use those lounges anytime we're sitting in an airport long enough to enjoy them.
So the annual fee number looks high on its own, but it only means something once we've compared it to the credits, the certificates, the lounge access, and the redemptions we actually use.
The only reason 11 cards does not feel chaotic is that we do not think of them as 11 separate cards. We think of them in 3 groups. The first group is the flexible points cards, our Chase and Capital One cards. The points from these don't belong to any airline or hotel until we decide to transfer them there. If we're planning a trip to Europe and want to stay at a Hyatt, we can transfer the points over right before booking. If we've already got a flight in mind and it happens to be on British Airways or Turkish Airlines, we transfer them there instead. We're not making that decision months ahead. We make it once we actually know what we need.
The second group is our hotel loyalty. IHG, Marriott, Hyatt, and Hilton. The points from these don't go anywhere else. They stay inside whatever program earned them. Along with that, each card carries some status with them.
IHG puts us at Platinum Elite, and Marriott gets us Silver Elite. Hyatt has us as Discoverist, and Hilton even has us at Silver. Status is nice, but what we actually plan around is the free night certificate each of these cards throws in every year.
Then there's the third group, the simple earners. The Freedom Unlimited, the Quicksilver,
and our Royal Caribbean card, which is now called the Royal One card.
That's right. No categories to track and nothing to think about. The Freedom Unlimited earns 1.5% on everything. but charges foreign transaction fees, so we only use it for charges that take place in the US.
The Quicksilver picks up the same 1.5% when we're traveling abroad, and the Royal One card earns cruise credit on trips we're already taking anyway.
These three basically run themselves, and that's what keeps the system manageable for us.
Every card either gives us flexible points, hotel value, or simple everyday earning. And if it doesn't fit in one of those jobs,
It probably doesn't belong in our
it
wallet.
doesn't belong in our wallet.
The real test is not how many points we have. The real test is what do these points actually do for our travel.
Our first flight after retiring was our trip from Boston to London on Virgin Atlantic, right after we sold the house and started traveling full time. 2 cash tickets would have cost $1,316, but instead, the flight needed 24,000 Virgin Atlantic points. We got those points by transferring 19,000 Chase points during a Virgin Atlantic transfer bonus. So those 19,000 Chase points became 24,000 Virgin Atlantic points on the other end. We still paid $240.04 in taxes and fees and upgrading our seats, but that redemption worked out to about 4.5 cents per point.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, that's why we check for transfer bonuses before moving points. Chase runs them on and off throughout the year, usually without much notice. And if your dates have some flexibility, that bonus can make a real difference.
Toulouse was a different kind of win. We moved 18,000 Chase points straight to Hyatt 1-to-1 with no loss in the transfer, and booked a stay that would have cost $288 in cash. We paid nothing out of pocket, which worked out to 1.6 cents per point. That is why Hyatt is one of the best Chase partners for us. Then there was the Moxie in Southampton. 5 nights would have cost $1,221 in cash, but instead of paying that full amount, we bought Marriott points during a promotion.
We purchased 55,000 points. Marriott added 24,750 bonus points, and that gave us the 79,000 points we needed for that stay.
We also booked 5 nights on purpose because Marriott gives you the 5th night free on award stays. So the points only had to cover 4 nights, and then the 5th one came along with it.
Buying the points cost us $687.50, which means we came out about $534 ahead of just paying cash for that stay.
Yeah, you add it all up, and that's $2,825.70 in travel value with $927.54 out of pocket.
The difference between those amounts is what the points did for us. That is why we keep tracking the redemptions in real dollars. Points are only useful to us when they replace travel we were actually going to book.
Those redemptions did not happen by accident. The biggest jump came in from sign-up bonuses, but the ongoing value comes in from using the right card in the right place.
The sign-up bonuses did most of the heavy lifting up front.
Yeah.
Both of our IHG cards came with 140,000 points each.
Again, ridiculous.
The Chase Sapphire Preferred and the Marriott Boundless each gave us 100,000 points, and most of the premium cards landed somewhere between 75,000 and 80,000 points. So before we had even used the cards for regular spending, the bonuses had already given us a big head start.
After that, it's really about which card is in our hand when we're spending. Dining out goes on the Chase Sapphire Preferred because it earns 3 times points on dining.
And streaming services go on that same card for the same 3 times points every month.
Oh, right. And the cell phone bill goes on the Venture X instead. Not for the points, but because paying it that way turns on cell phone insurance.
Which covers up to $800 per claim twice a year with a simple $50 deductible.
And when your phone is also your map, your bank, and your translator in another country, that is not a small thing to have covered.
Every hotel stay we pay cash for is also building toward the next stay we may be able to book with points. So for most hotel bookings, we still check the Chase and Venture X portals first, depending on what deals are happening. But if we're staying somewhere inside one of our loyalty hotel card covered programs, we usually skip the portal and put it on that hotel's own card instead. The earnings rate is just so much higher there. IHG can pay up to 26 times the points, Marriott's up to 17, Hyatt around 9. The portal works fine when we just need a place to stay, but when it's part of the hotel brand we know we will use again, that cash stay is going to do double duty. It's covering the room and adding to our point balance for the next possible stay.
The Freedom Unlimited and Quicksilver are about as simple as cards get. 1.5% on everything, no categories, nothing to even track. But neither one of the cards just sits there as plain cash back. The Freedom Unlimited pools with our other Chase Sapphire points, and the Quicksilver pools with the Venture X.
So that 1.5 from everyday spending ends up in the same pot as everything else, and it can move to the same airline and hotel partners as the rest of our points.
All of that runs pretty much on its own. The right card for the right spend, with balances building in the background.
But every so often, a window opens up where moving points is worth a lot more than usual, like that Virgin Atlantic transfer bonus. Those don't come with much warning. They show up as an email. And if nobody reads it, the window closes and nothing happens. That's how we caught the 80% bonus on IHG points and a bonus point transfer opportunity to JetBlue. Both times it came down to actually noticing what showed up in the inbox.
That was huge. So earning points is not about chasing every possible category. For us, it is about a repeatable system that keeps building balances from spending we were already gonna do.
And that brings us back to the card that forced this entire review, the Sapphire Reserve. The Sapphire Reserve isn't a weak card. The benefits are real. A $300 travel credit, priority pass, the 1.5 cents per point we still have through Chase Travel on the points we already built up.
Yeah, and they gave us the global entry credit, and it gives you rental car status, and it's gonna have a new points boost system.
Which seems pretty cool.
Yeah.
Which can push some bookings up to, 2 cents per point. On paper, that's a strong lineup. Once we put the Reserve next to the Venture X, the overlap was harder to ignore. The $300 travel credit, the priority pass, and the global entry credit are all part of what comes with both cards already.
Rental car status is on both cards as well. And the Venture X actually goes a little bit further and offers the Hertz Presidential Circle on top of the, the National Emerald Club Executive.
And the Avis Preferred Plus tiers we already had.
Right, they both already have it on
Once
those
everything else was duplicated, the Reserve was mostly asking us to keep paying $795 plus $195 for the additional card holder, which is $990.
Yeah, that's almost $1,000 for a stronger, travel portal setup?
The Reserve guarantees the 1.5 cents per point through Chase Travel, with points boosts reaching up to 2 cents on some bookings. The Preferred starts at a flat 1 cent with points boost up to 1.5 cents. At $990, that remaining difference was not enough to keep the Reserve in our wallet. So we're moving to the Sapphire Preferred card.
Our points aren't going anywhere, and we're staying inside the Chase Ultimate Rewards program with the same transfer partners.
What we're giving up is the Reserve level portal value, one of our 2 priority pass memberships, and the stronger travel protections, and the higher points boost ceiling.
Yeah.
We haven't made the switch yet, and that's on purpose. Right now, the Reserve still guarantees that 1.5 cents per point through Chase Travel. So once we downgrade, that guarantee goes away. So before we flip the card, we're booking a couple of trips we already have coming up through the portal.
Take advantage.
While that rate is still locked in. That's the rule we're using now.
We are not keeping a card because it used to make sense. We're keeping it only if the math still works on how we're actually going to travel.
The cards we carry today are not necessarily the cards we will carry 2 years from now. The Reserve is already on its way out. Things change. What does not change is the framework. Flexible points, hotel loyalty, simple earners. As long as every card has a job and every benefit gets used, the system takes care of itself.
Are you more likely to keep a card for points, travel perks, or for a simple backup protection. We'll see you next time.
We'll see you next time.